My reading this morning is from a book by Ramtha called Awakened. It's a story of a master's dream and the robe of midnight blue. I'm reading from the introduction by the editor, who is Jaime Leal Nyanya. Are we alive in a dream, asleep, waiting for someone or something to wake us up? Are we really here, living in a reality that we don't fully know or understand or seem to control? How did we arrive here? And how do we go there, where we wish to be, wherever we believe that is? Are we really alive? Could it be that we are dead, living in images of memories of a once remote past? Who are we, really? Thoughts, dreams, emotions, memories? Could we be just the brain firing, or are we more? Awareness, will, spirit, a soul? Are we unique and real, or a player in someone else's creation and imagination? Pawns in a mythological game of chess? Could we be a pixel in a television screen, or a character in a reality show, or some other worldly, ultra-terrestrial reality? Are we someone else's dream, a mere program of artificial intelligence? Or are we really ourselves, awake? Ancient traditions and religions, philosophers, mystics and masters, and even poets have always warned those who would listen that the world was a dream and an illusion. These words echo and resound throughout the ages in the writings of Hinduism, of the East, through the Greek philosophers, the Greek Gnostic writers that followed, the passionate voices of poets and playwrights, or even in the words of brilliant modern scientists of such profound intellectual mind as Albert Einstein. The beauty of humanity, nature and the physical body returned to the stage with the great humanists and remarkable writers and artists of the Renaissance. The ingenious dreams of truly golden age of enlightenment set the fertile ground for a new flower to break through and bloom. The perception of the human being in its simple but divine, perennial nature, its ability to dream and reason, and an original and free thought by its own right and willful choice. These important concepts guided our conversation and exploration in the two previous books by Ramtha called The Mind Gladiators. The existential question of what is real and whether we are living in a dream has not only been the interest of philosophers and mystics, but of many scientists as well. Albert Einstein's statement on time illustrates this trend. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. The discoveries of quantum physics and the dual nature of light that behave both as a wave and a particle have brought the conversation to a whole new level. The unpredictable behavior of subatomic particles, collapsed by an act of observation, made it clear to modern scientists that reality was not as solid as it appeared. The dream in material form responds to the observer collapsing the wave function of probability into a measurable reality. Past, present and future, time, as a factor of distance and space, and the fundamental blocks of matter itself all exist simultaneously as a cloud of probability. The propositions and tenets of quantum physics are no longer a theory. They are now scientific fact, proven through rigorous experimentation over recent decades. The universe, us included, is not as solid as it appears to be. Reality and matter are pliable and changeable, a construct of mind. There is no matter as such, according to our most brilliant scientists. Max Planck openly proclaimed this in his famous speech in Florence in 1944. As a man who has devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter, I can tell you as a result of my research about atoms this much. There is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particle of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. We must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. The mind is the matrix of all matter. We have come full circle from ancient wisdom to myth, philosophy, art, and finally science, and arrived at the same conclusion. Life, as the ancient teachers and poets always said, is but a dream. If life is a dream and we live in a dream, then who is dreaming it? How do we wake up? How do we dream the dream we really want to live in? What does it mean to wake up and live a life fully awakened? The ancients describe waking up as enlightenment, gnosis of knowledge, salvation or liberation. In our modern times of socio-political and economic, global, dynamic changes, waking up is the prophesied great awakening of all people as one, sharing the same rights and freedoms of life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness. It is the long-awaited ending of manipulation of truth and enslavement perpetrated by a few for control and power. As we have seen, the impulse guiding the trajectory of our long history, searching for answers to these most profound and soul-searching questions, did not start in our current political era. This compelling force is truly ancient and is ever pressing us to explore new possibilities of what it means to be human, not ignorant and asleep, but alive and awakened in a dream of our own making. Ramtha's teachings over the last 4 decades and counting, weaved into this special book, directly address these questions, explain how it is that we live in a dream and the importance of waking up. I quote, "Now why do you want to be born again? It isn't that you have to die. Quite the contrary, you have to wake up and live. Being born again is an analogous to that which is termed having an opportunity to live a new life from this moment called now. What greater life could you live than to live beyond your limitation, to be courageous enough to be a mutant in the world, to transmute that which is termed ignorance and fear into bliss and unlimited adventure for life." Ramtha. Ramtha also describes the keys that are hidden in the brain and the deep subconscious. He teaches us how to access them to awaken as a master of reality, a superhero with access to all knowledge and the power of the mind. I quote again, "The greatest conquest is to wake up and have unfettered vision to a day that is not colored and distracted with prejudices, emotions, and victimizations that are a sign of utter irresponsibility, that avoid the responsibility of the due diligence to make one's lives better. And as we do that, we then have unfettered access to planes and dimensions. We open up the midbrain and we have the future flowing through us." Ramtha. Ramtha masterfully illustrates throughout this book the important role the physical body plays as the garment of a divine being on a journey of exploration of galactic and stellar proportions, waiting to wake up as a master. I quote, "And thus is born an awakening of a common person who dreams the dream of the king's garment, who dreams the dream of the robe of midnight blue, spangled in stars and exotic moons. Now we have a student who dreams the dream of the master." Ramtha. Clothed with this array of knowledge, the moment is now ripe in our human evolution for a wonderful new dream that rivals all we have known and takes us to the unknown gardens of fantastic realism, extraordinary mind, experience, wisdom and beauty, such as Tatiana and Oberon's enchanted forest, one midsummer night's dream. Writer and editor Jaime Leal Anyanya.